everyone, welcome to Food in a Flash. I'm Sharon Glass, and as this is the last episode in this series, we're finishing off with some Italian food. We're making a pasta primavera, a baked pesto fusilli, and a Caprese stack salad with a basil creams dressing. As a self-taught cook and cooking teacher of 27 years, I have a passion for what I do, and as a mother, I know how rewarding it is to see my family happily tucking into a wonderful meal that I have prepared. I also know what it's like to be a busy mom and still have to think about getting dinner on the table. It's not always easy, but it doesn't have to be complicated. That's why I started teaching and writing cookbooks, to show people just how wonderful it can be to cook and enjoy and still have time and energy to do the important things in life. I hope I can get you to become confident in the kitchen, have fun, and above all, create some beautiful, simple meals that you and your family will absolutely love. I'm going to start with the pasta primavera. It's full of vegetables, it's got a bit of chili, it's quite chunky, and we're serving it with a linguine. So I've got to get those vegetables going. So I've got a little bit of chili, garlic, some chili, some sun-dried tomatoes, sugar because I'm using tomatoes tinned and fresh, some asparagus, and my vegetables of baby marrow, mushrooms, and eggplant. You can substitute and use any other vegetables you'd like. But what I want to do is put some olive oil in the pan because I want those vegetables to coat the pasta. Some garlic, and you should never heat this on a very high heat because to bring out the flavor, the lower the heat, the better. A little bit of chili, we can always add some more later. And I'm going to dice my vegetables. So I want to start with the vegetables that take the longest to cook. You don't want them too small because otherwise you're not going to have body to this pasta sauce. And then cut them into quite big pieces so that I've got lots and lots of flavor coming through. If I really wanted to, I could even add a bit of chicken to this and change it and make it into a chicken pasta, but I would cook the chicken first. Right, let me turn my stove down. We don't want this to heat up too much. Just take it off for a minute. I'm going to cut my eggplant because I need to cook that eggplant first. And if you've just joined us, I always don't soak my eggplant necessarily because it doesn't always need soaking. If you can see, there aren't that many pips in this, so it's not bitter, and I don't mind that little bit of liquid in here. I don't want them too big though because I need all the veggies to pretty much be the same size as the zucchini. So we need to put a little bit more olive oil over the eggplant so that it really softens beautifully. I'm going to let that cook on its own, but I like to add a bit of salt. While that's going, I'm going to slice my mushrooms, and I've already got the asparagus sitting in some salted water to draw the sand out of the heads. And what that does is it makes them not gritty when you eat them. So I like to just wipe my mushrooms, never wash them, they're full of water anyway, and we're slicing them rather than dicing them like the others because they're just going to collapse to nothing. So I might even sneak an amazing little bit of porcini into this pasta. These are fresh, they're in season, they are just the most incredible things for flavor. So a porcini mushroom is a wild mushroom. Also needs to be wiped but with a damp cloth, because if you don't wipe it with a damp cloth, it's got a little bit of sand on it. And what you actually want to do is peel the stem so that you just take that little bit of grittiness off the bottom. And you want to use every part of it because that's going to give you lots and lots of flavor. So I'm just slicing that part off, and I'm always going to slice my stem first. So these cook very quickly. They're much softer than a regular mushroom, and they're very expensive. So if you are going to use them, you want to use them to their best ability so that they really bring out the flavor in the pasta. I'm not going to use the whole thing because I've got a whole lot here of ordinary mushrooms. This is just going to add some flavor. That on its own in a delicious pasta is just wonderful. Okay, my eggplant are changing color. You can see that they're starting to get a little bit golden. They're absorbing the oil. So let's add the mushrooms. I don't think we need more chili yet. And then I'm going to add my rosa tomatoes. And these, if they're big, I like to just cut them in half because I want them just to burst and open and give me a bit of a chunkiness in that pasta. But I'm going to cover them with a lid so that it doesn't lose all the liquid, because otherwise I'm going to have no sauce whatsoever. My tomatoes are going to go in later. My tin tomatoes and the sun-dried tomatoes last with the asparagus, because the asparagus really just need a few minutes. I think we'll add the baby marrow now. This is smelling quite amazing. There's something about garlic that just does it for me. Love that smell. And the colors really look fantastic anyway. This is the kind of food that I like inviting my family over for, because I can prepare it ahead of time. You know, I don't often have time in the day. So what I like to do is make the sauce, quickly boil the pasta when they come, and put it all together, and I can sit and relax with them as well. And I'm not standing in the kitchen cooking. Right, I'm going to cover this. We're going to let this simmer. I'm going to give it a little bit more oil. It's hearty, it's Italian, it needs the oil. Beautiful. We've got to turn this down, and I'm going to move it to a smaller stove so that it actually slowly simmers. Otherwise this is just too high of a heat and it's going to burn the bottom of the pan. So let's change stoves here. Cover it with a lid. And while that's cooking, let's get our water boiling for our pasta. I'm going to bring a pot of water to a boil, add some salt, a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm going to put my pasta in and stir it immediately. And then we leave it for about 8 minutes or whatever the directions are on the packet, and then drain it and toss it with a drop of olive oil to serve immediately with my sauce. Let's just check these. Oh, they're softening. I'm going to add my tin tomatoes now, and we're going to let that simmer for about another 5-10 minutes. Just to let the flavors mix. And it's looking fabulous, and the only thing I need to add right at the end will be my sun-dried tomatoes, some asparagus, and a little bit of sugar, because we're cooking with tomato, we always need to add a little bit of sugar. I don't think it needs any more seasoning because we've added quite a lot of salt. My eggplant is beautiful. Delicious. Let's just let that simmer. Oh, that looks gorgeous. The colors are beautiful. My sauce is coming nice. I'm going to just add my asparagus and cut it into quite small pieces. They'll only need a couple of minutes. And the sun-dried tomatoes. Right. And I want that asparagus to be really beautiful and green. My pasta's ready. You can put it all together. I'll give that a stir. So this is really nice and chunky, and those porcini are going to give it such a wonderful taste. Right, sun-dried tomatoes, these are the ones in oil, so they actually are nice and soft. I'm just going to cut them into pieces. Fantastic. Bit of sugar. Little pinch of sugar, some pepper, and that should complete the whole dish. So give it a stir, and it's ready to eat. My asparagus have been cooking for just a few minutes, and the color is fantastic. I like to put the linguine at the bottom and mound the vegetables on top, because then you can take as much or as little as you like. So we just want to give that a... And that little bit of oil on the pasta just stops it sticking together. So it coats it, that when the sauce is on it, it just sits beautifully. Right, let me find my tongs. So what I need to do is just give it that fancy little swirl. Beautiful. Pour this over. And it looks and smells amazing. After the break, we'll be making a baked pesto fusilli, which is just delicious. Don't go away. Hi and welcome back to Food in a Flash. We are cooking Italian today, and I've made a delicious pasta primavera, and now we're going to do a baked pesto fusilli. So I've already cooked my pasta. I'm using a fusilli. It's lovely. The sauce kind of goes into all the swirls. You can use a gluten-free or whole wheat pasta if you like. I don't want to cook it too long because it's going to bake. So if I cook it in the beginning too long, then the whole thing is going to be too soft. But I've kept my pasta water because that is going to thin out my sauce, and I'm going to use as much as I need. What's different about this is we are using Italian parsley today. Instead of basil, it's not an overpowering basil flavor. It's just the parsley and lots of it to give me a gorgeous green color. I've got some feta, some parmesan, freshly grated parmesan, a little bit of milk, and some eggs. And because this is going to be dairy, we're doing feta and parmesan anyway, so you're going to use regular milk and your eggs and a little bit of garlic as well. So I want to break the eggs and mix them with the milk before I add it into my food processor. And I'm going to blend the whole thing in the food processor. Milk. And we're just going to give that a little bit of a whisk. That's perfect. Okay. And I'm going to put my parsley in first. Let that process to really break it down. This is such a quick, easy pasta. It is delicious. It's something that you can do ahead of time. The only thing I wouldn't do is pour it over the pasta if you're making it really early. So have your sauce ready, have your pasta ready, and then combine them. Because what happens is the pasta swells, it absorbs the sauce, and when it bakes, you really don't have that sauciness that it needs. Okay. Right, that's perfect. We're going to add our garlic, and you can add as much as you like. Our milk and eggs, and that's going to give it a nice puffiness. My feta, and I've already crumbled it. It's just easier to mix in. And I'm going to keep the parmesan for a bit later because I like to see if I need and how much I need. So this is quite saucy and liquidy, and it's exactly what I want. The feta gives it a nice saltiness as well, so it really will work beautifully. Right, let's season with some salt and pepper. A lot of pepper when we do something like this. So I'm going to put a bit of pasta water. Now there's a lot of salt in this water. I boiled the pasta in salty water to give the pasta flavor, and that salty water is fantastic in any sauce because you want to use it to actually thin out the sauce, whether it's a tomato sauce or a tomato cream sauce. It doesn't really matter, but it adds a lot of flavor as well. So never throw it away because you don't know if you're ever going to need it. Now I need a little bit of olive oil. And that's just going to give me that texture that I need to coat the whole thing. So about 1/3 of a cup. Don't really measure. Okay. and that's all I need. So we're going to toss this over the pasta. I'll add my parmesan and put it in a dish that I've sprayed already so that it doesn't stick and it's easy to get out. I'm just putting this into a dish here. Perfect. Parmesan, I'll use some now, and my pasta. That's excellent. What I like to do, and this is a great tip for cooking something like fusilli or penne or shell pasta or even bow pasta. When it cooks, what I do is I turn the stove off as it's almost done, because often if you keep it on the boil, then the pasta starts to break. But if you leave it in the pot and just let it sit, it'll finish cooking and then the pasta will be ready without breaking, and then you've got a beautiful spiral that looks like that. Okay, this is fantastic. Let's put it in the dish. You want to make sure that it's quite nice and saucy, so that it coats it. And the Italian parsley is just amazing. It's got the most fantastic flavor. One little piece here, some parmesan on top, and it's ready to go. So I would only assemble this and bake it straight away, because otherwise, as I said, it's going to swirl the pasta and then your pasta won't have any sauce when it bakes. Let's bake it on 180 degrees for about 25 minutes and then we'll check the oven. Baked, smelling delicious and ready to eat. And you could keep this on a hot tray until you are ready for it, because it's still going to be just as delicious. When we come back, we'll be finishing off our Italian ideas with my favorite salad, a Caprese salad with a delicious basil cream dressing. Don't go away. Welcome back to Food in a Flash. We are making Italian dishes today, and I've cooked a pasta primavera, a baked pesto fusilli, and now I'm making my most favorite salad, which is a caprese. I'm slicing my tomato because I'm going to stack tomato, mozzarella and avo, and I've got some very soft mozzarella balls, some basil for my dressing, some mayonnaise and some cream. It's not a slimming dressing, but it's quite delicious. And this makes an attractive starter or side salad as you wish. So you want really beautiful, ripe red tomatoes. And when it's summer and they're in season, they are beautiful and firm and delicious in a salad such as this. So thin slices, because I want to stack them. I'm going to slice my mozzarella balls very thinly. And then I've got some avo, a nice firm ripe avo, and that will make a really beautiful stack. I want a full slice of avo, so I'm not going to peel it yet. I'm going to actually slice it first and then peel it after, so that I get that beautiful look. Okay, let's just take the skin off. There we go. It just pops out quite easily. So even if I just put a little bit just for that greenery, and basil, tomato and mozzarella, they all just seem to work really well together. I mean, I could have that with a crusty Italian ciabatta and I would be so happy at night. It would be quite perfect. So we'll start with our tomato on the base, then a slice of mozzarella. I'm going to put a piece of avo, and you want to see the color. Another slice of tomato, some mozzarella, and this is already looking beautiful. Tomato. mozzarella, and we'll finish with a little bit of avo. Now I'm just going to slice it into rounds. Okay, on top. Perfect. Now we're going to make the dressing. So I'm going to blend the whole thing in my food processor, this mini blender. Lots of basil. We'll just keep a little bit for sprinkling on top, so just a few leaves, but we want quite a lot, so it's a full 30 grams or even more if you like. Some cream and some mayonnaise. And then I'm going to add a bit of salt and pepper, and it shouldn't really need anything else. And this dressing could be made a couple of days ahead and just kept in the fridge because the color will stay the same. Okay. That really looks good. A little bit of salt. I don't need too much because it's quite tasty with the mixture that I've got in there. Some black pepper. And I think that's ready. So now all we want to do is just spoon that dressing over the top of my mozzarella stacks. I'm going to finish it with some black pepper and a little bit of basil. And I'm going to spoon a bit around the platter as well because we get a nice base. And it'll start to soften and mix together. And it's a feast for your eyes because it just looks so gorgeous. Right, a bit of black pepper. And we'll finish with a basil leaf on each one. And sometimes the most simple things are the nicest and tastiest. That's my favorite salad. So we've completed our delicious Italian dishes. We have a pasta primavera brimming with lots of vegetables, mushrooms, zucchini and eggplant. We have a baked pesto fusilli, which is also smelling gorgeously garlic, and my most favorite salad, a Caprese stack salad with a basil cream dressing. So we've come to the end of our series. I've really enjoyed sharing my passion of cooking with you, and I hope I've given you some great ideas for quick and easy, delicious recipes in your homes. Thanks for watching.
You've seen her do it on TV. Now learn to cook with Sharon at one of her fun interactive cooking workshops. From the very basics of cooking to full dinner party meals or cakes and bakes, Sharon Glass has a cooking class or workshop just for you. For more information or to book a spot, visit www.thehomechannel.co.za and follow the link to Food in a Flash. And for one lucky Home Channel viewer, Sharon is offering an interactive workshop for you and 7 of your friends. All you have to do to enter is log on to our website, fill in the online entry form, and you could stand a chance to win this great prize. Entries for the competition close on Sunday the 15th of July.